Okay, it says we're live. I'm going to trust it, but only as far as that other light goes. You know how it is. Some things are, some things aren't, and I never know which are. Hi, guys. Max here. It is the last day of the week for me, Thursday. That is the 29th day of May, and it's about 6:59 to 7-ish Mountain Time. Always ish coming out of here. I don't have a lot today, except I want to talk about Idaho, the great state of confusion, oppression. It's not a bad place to live, really, but it could be a whole lot better. It really could. Let's go through my 10 points of the day. Point one: Idaho is a small and relatively insignificant state, mostly known for famous potatoes and a shameless lying governor. Now, in this flyover state, we've got a boss hog governor who rules with an iron hand. The occasional bread and circus bills he signs are designed to placate the ignorant. And people, there's a hell of a lot of ignorance in the great potato state. Hardly known for their blinding intellect, Idahoans are perfectly suited subjects for a boss hog republic. Idahoans have long been afflicted with a state sales tax of 6%, 6 cents on the dollar, on both groceries and medication. Yeah, milk, bread, cheese, meat, vegetables, fruits, 6% tax on it. Over-the-counter medications, headache medications, various things, 6% tax. In the face of these onerous, it's the only word I can think of, these horrible onerous taxes, the government here enjoys record revenue every year. The governor and others in his inner circle revel in the income that they wrench from the hands of the rich and the poor alike. Now, when I say rich, I need to qualify it. Not mega wealthy, just rich. Now, here's the rub. It was back in 2018, and Silver Spooner Brad Little, you see why I call him a Silver Spooner, promised to eliminate this tax if he was elected. He said, make me governor, and I will eliminate that state sales tax on food and on medicine, you lying son of a bitch. Well, when I say Silver Spooner, because that's what it is. This guy was raised in the lap of affluence. He's never sweated a bill, never sweated the price of braces for the kids, never had a worry because he's generational money. He's old money. He's inbred. He's Idaho. His responsibilities and chances to grow up to be a man, they were never offered because of his generational wealth. It's like living in a trust. You grow up as a trust baby like a guy I know named Mark, and you never grow up because all your bills are paid for you. Soon as something bad comes up, the trust, or in this case, Brad Little's family, rescues you. Now understand, among his campaign promises and lies, he promised to address Idaho's sky-high and skyrocketing property taxes. Of course, as soon as he was elected, here came the famous Brad Little selective amnesia. It kicked in. Did I do that? I don't remember that. Isn't it amazing how one can completely forget promises, ones that might actually require effort, responsibility, or money? Idaho's press, if you can call it that, like the legislature and the state Supreme Court, are scared shitless of this guy. Brad has both houses of government and the courts steering as clear of him as possible. Brad Little is not one to be trifled with, and he has a history of getting you. He'll get you. He'll get back at you. Revenge is in his DNA. Think Ammon Bundy. But let's move on. He'll do whatever it takes to protect the party. And of course, the hyper wealthy, the ones who own him. The filthy rich like the Simplots, Micron, Albertsons, all these others, they keep their governor for hire in line. And he's happy because it means more money to an already rich man. What do you give a man who has everything? You give him more. Sucks, don't it? When asked why he does nothing about sales tax or property taxes, his answer is this real snotty, leave governance to the professionals. What kind of crap is that? That's about as nose in the air as anybody can be without getting a well-deserved beatdown in return. The state's food and medication sales taxes, they aren't the only problem, but they're symptomatic of the iron grip of the Idaho Republican Party and their stooge, Brad Little, and all the grip that they have on the people and the place of Idaho. Now, on the other side of the coin, Idaho is safe. Idaho has very little violent crime. The air is clean. The water is pure. The streets are clean. Crowded as hell, but clean. There is order. The same could have been said at one time about Hitler's Germany, Mao's China, or Castro's Cuba. What I'm trying to tell you is we live in a pretty great state, but by the same token, it won't stay that way forever. We've had graft and criminality in our government going as far back as when they settled this state. It hasn't gotten any better. And when you get people like Bradley Doolittle in charge, working for his rich people behind the scenes, that's not how you get better at what you do or how you live. I'm ending the week on a sour note because if you wanted to cure this, if Idahoans really gave a damn, they'd have voted this son of a bitch out. But you don't, because you're lazy, you're complacent. You'll settle for things the way they are. That's why we probably should call Idaho the settle for state. I'll settle for things the way they is, long as I can gas up my side-by-side, send kids out to soccer camp, and let them get a shitty education in government-run schools. Well, I'm just happy as a peach. Let him rape us all he wants. Isn't that what it amounts to? I'm Max, and that is the way I see it. Have a good weekend.